as Alex Roberts,
So
his opponent.
depending on, Edward Stewart and Logan Green are likely playing against each other, and they have to play. So that actually might allow Gage to win. He is playing. So we have two. We've seen Alex Roberts. He's playing Rug Delver. Pretty stock list. And what is Gage Bunting? Stifle Knot.
Gage playing Stifle Knot. So yeah, 4 copies of Stifle, 2 copies of Phyrexian Dreadnought, 4 copies of Death's Shadow, 3 Varels the Star Striped, along with some legacy staples, Dark Confidant, Tarmogoyf, and Deathrite Shaman, rounding out his creature base. So and of course, some targeted discard Inquisition.
His big combo, he's really like multiple decks. He's like a Death Shadow deck. Gets much better the more you can pay life for your own cards. So to that end, he has 1 Underground Sea and 1 Watery Grave. Not because he can't afford an Underground Sea, but because he actively wants to pay life to make his Death Shadow bigger. But the real big payoff in Gage's deck is Varels the Scar Striped. Phyrexian Dreadnought's a 1 mana 12/12.
Yeah.
Death Shadow, a 1 mana 13/13. Those are really good salvage targets.
Yes, they are, and hopefully we'll get to see some action. Starting now with turn 1 Watery Grave from Gage Bunting. Paying the life.
Give me
He's down to 17 now.
Thoughtseize.
Yeah.
Yes.
Down to 15
life.
It's Suicide Black Blue right now.
Yeah. Suicide Demir. Force of Will, your Thoughtseize.
Alex not averse to paying life either, although he's paying life to him to Turok himself. Protecting information though.
Protecting information, probably protecting his only spell or his only creature threat.
Yeah.
I believe Alex has only a Nimble Mongoose as a threat.
So the Force of Will removing Daze deals with Thoughtseize, and Alex is going to play a Scalding Tarn, find a tropical island.
Yeah, Gage has dazes of his own. So he's because he has Stifle, Daze. Gage has the same mana denial aspects, but not as extreme. But he does have Stifle, Daze, Wasteland.
We can switch these to line them up with the players. So yeah, that Nimble Mongoose you saw is now on the table. Gage's turn. He cracks a Polluted Delta and is now attempting to cast a Dark Confidant, which is again dazed for the turn. That the Polluted Delta fetched up a Bayou. So far Alex has played Counterspell, Threat, Counterspell. And now Alex can
textbook start from Alex.
Get in for 1 here.
He's
with
not
his
really
Mongoose.
using the mana denial aspects, but he is like playing a great tempo game because Gage is, I think, correctly playing into some of the cards because he has so many possible plays for any given turn.
And
so he just wants to use his mana very efficiently. Inquisition of Kozilek. Gage likely going to respond Brainstorm, maybe hide some goodies.
Yeah, draws Misty Rainforest, Force of Will, Nimble Mongoose.
So I expect the Daze to go back and the Nimble Mongoose to go back. That would leave Alex without a hand that no cards can be taken from Inquisition of Kozilek. So swing and a miss. It's often a mixed blessing. It just means that Alex is generally pretty bad. But Gage knows that Alex put back his 2 best cards.
Right. Or 2 best targets for Inquisition anyway. Alright, so it looks like Gage is considering his options. He's got an Abrupt Decay, a Brainstorm. Looks like he's considering that Brainstorm, and he casts it. So
the Abrupt Decay not very impressive.
No, not against Hexproof. I'm sorry, Shroud Mongoose.
Yes.
There.
So Wasteland, Overgrown Tomb, I believe. There's an Overgrown Tomb in the set. Yes, there is.
And a Tarmogoyf.
Interesting for Gage, he still wanted to keep his Abrupt Decay. looking for his land. He wants the Overgrown Tomb that he literally just put back on top. So he might be playing Death Shadow.
Yeah, he's certainly willing to. Yeah, there it is. Death's Shadow. Why don't we put that on the screen, Troy? This is one that was in World Wake, I believe.
Yes, standard 13/13 for 1 mana. It has a little bit of a drawback, though.
A little bit, which Gage has been doing a reasonable job of fighting. So Death's Shadow gets -X/-X, where X is your life total. So that makes Death's Shadow a whopping 1/1 right now. 1/1 for 1. They have been historically good. Mons Goblin Raiders, that's a classic.
Yeah. Alex doing his best to grow the Nimble Mongoose.
So both players with a 1/1 for 1 that presumably is intended to be bigger.
Well, when Alex attacks Gage, Gage's creature
gets better.
It's not a 2/2, so Force of Will, pitch Daze.
Yeah, Tarmogoyf on the stack for Gage, but Force of Will removing Daze for the second time this game is going to deal with that.
So Alex can get Threshold if he wants. Yep, he wants Threshold.
So cracks both of his fetch lands.
So I think this Death Shadow's just out of control now. It's 5/5. Pretty much can't be. One card is not going to do it. However, Gage's hand is not very good either.
Yeah,
it is Phyrexian Dreadnought, Daze, and Abrupt Decay. So he's going to have to. His Death Shadow's going to have to sit back on defense, more than likely.
So Alex passes back after fetching up 2 dual lands. Has an additional Mongoose added to the table this turn. And now Gage untaps with, as you mentioned, Abrupt Decay, Daze, and Phyrexian Dreadnought in hand. Dreadnought fairly useless at the moment, just immediately dies. If the Rolls was around, that wouldn't be so bad.
Daze the draw for Alex Roberts, not where either player wants to be. No Daze territory for either player here.
Abrupt Decay also very bad, which is currently in Gage's hand. Those Nimble Mongooses do not care about Abrupt Decay.
Delver's Secret's the draw for Alex Roberts.
And there it is. Delver of Secrets comes down. Alex with a third threat. And now Gage with Tropical Island in his hand. Now double Daze, Abrupt Decay, Phyrexian Dreadnought, and he passes back. So Alex knocks the top of his deck, finds Lightning Bolt, flips the Delver, and this, I believe, should spell the end for Gage unless he's able to somehow come up with an answer. We know he can double Daze that Bolt, but that's not enough. So he blocks 1. And we forgot about the Abrupt Decay.
Yeah, Abrupt Decay allows we'll take out the Insectile Aberration. Not even reflipping, just going straight to the grave.
Yeah, so Abrupt Decay deals with the Delver, and Gage takes 3.
One thing that Gage could have done is maybe I don't know how it works with Death Shadow taking lethal damage, but life totals changing.
Yeah, which one of those happens first?
Yeah. For example, if Alex wanted to bolt the Death Shadow, I have no idea how that interacts.
So Alex left with just a lone Nimble Mongoose on board after the Abrupt Decay took out the Delver of Secrets and the Death Shadow blocked the other Nimble Mongoose. Gage Bunting at 5 life with an 8/8 now. 8/8 Death Shadow.
I see Varolz was drawn.
I think you're right.
I used to seeing these in Legacy. Varolz the Scarstripe Dragon's Maze card.
Yeah.
I actually wrote an article about this, highlighting new decks that could possibly, and Gage's deck I think is very much based on some of the framework. It has some really cool interactions, both Death Shadow and Phyrexian Dreadnought.
So there you see barrels, 2/2 for 3. Each creature card in your graveyard has scavenge. The scavenge cost is equal to its mana cost, and you can sacrifice another creature to regenerate barrels. The big thing here is that Phyrexian Dreadnought in the graveyard scavenges for 1, making something an extra +12/+12.
Yeah, so with the 2 Phyrexian Dreadnoughts in Gage's hand, he can just play them, let them die.
He has 2 now? Yeah, it does.
Yes,
he does have 2. I saw the 1.
Yeah, you can play them, let them die, and then scavenge onto each of one of his creatures. That would work, except for Alex has a Stifle, and I believe you can Stifle Scavenge. And the creature is exiled as part of the Scavenge cost. But Scavenge making its first foray into Legacy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. You should be able to stifle the Scavenge, but not 100% sure on that. So, Gage Bunting at 5 life with an 8/8 Death Shadow and a 2/2 Varol's the Scar Striped in play. Versus Alex Roberts' Rug Delver list with currently just only a Nimble Mongoose in play. It is thresholded though, so it's a 3/3.
So Phyrexian Dreadnought comes into play.
So Alex could stifle this if he would like. It won't work out the way he thinks it will. You know, of course, Alex not gonna fall for that one. And,
Alex is not gonna do Gage's dirty work and stifle the trigger for him.
It's like, I gotta stifle that, so it doesn't go to the graveyard and scavenge doesn't happen. So here we see the Dreadnought goes to the graveyard and is
gonna bolt it.
Immediately
not
being
a bad play.
Yeah. Scavenge can only happen as a sorcery, so it's not like he can really do anything else.
I actually think Gage might have misplayed a little bit. He knew about the bolt, and to save his Varolz, he would have to sacrifice his Death Shadow to regenerate the Varolz, and that would tap both of his creatures.
Right, he would lose the Death Shadow, Varolz would be tapped. So he's going to brainstorm here and try to find some sort of answer or something. He sees, I believe, a Stifle.
Yeah, I don't see much for Gage. What he should have done, Gage, he should have played the Phyrexian Dreadnought with the sacrifice trigger on the stack, just sacrificed it anyway to Varolz to regenerate it. And maybe he did, and we don't know that.
Right, it should have tapped then.
If that's the case, it would regenerate, but Gage wouldn't have to lose his Death Shadow now, because it already had a regeneration shield on it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's a neat little trick to remember when you're playing with specifically Phyrexian Dreadnought.
So, Brainstorm finishes up. Of course, the Dreadnought exiled, and the Varolz.
Why is he Thoughtseize exiled?
Goes away. Not sure why the Thoughtseize is exiled.
Yeah.
But there you see an Inquisition of Kozilek.
Tarmogoyf would be a pretty nice draw for Alex, except for Gage has another Abrupt Decay. What Gage doesn't have is another way to close this game.
So Giant Goyf, medium size, Nimble Mongoose for Alex, 1 blocker for Gage. Fortunately for Gage, though, that Tarmogoyf is summoning sick.
We do not have a Death Shadow die, but it is 8/8.
Yeah. So
Phyrexian Dreadnought, Stifle.
So there you see the Stifle Knot, where that name comes from. Dreadnought comes down, its effect to sacrifice 12 power worth of creatures.
When Phyrexian Dreadnought comes into play, you have to sacrifice 12 power worth of creatures.
Yes, and he is stifling that particular trigger, so the Dreadnought sticks around. It's a 1/1 for, I'm sorry, it's a 12/12 for essentially 2 mana. It's for 1 and then 1 for the Stifle. And of course we know Gage also has access to Abrupt Decay to deal with that Tarmogoyf if things go awry here. Death Shadow right now attacked.
Yep, so Alex is at 5 too.
Yep. And another Tarmogoyf for Alex. And pass. So end of turn, abrupt decay on the Tarmogoyf, and
and that'll be enough for Alex to pack it in.
yeah.
So this just in, the top 4 tables have intentionally drawn.
Huh.
What this means is that if Alex Roberts wins this match, Alex Roberts has 1 loss. He is 7-1 currently. If he wins this match, there will be one of the people that drew will be knocked out of top 8, so draw themselves into 9th. However, if Gage wins, Gage will be the odd man out. He has by far the lowest percentage of tiebreakers. In addition, he is having to play the last round, so that will like further lower his tiebreakers.
So Gage wins this, he's up to 22 points, along with everybody besides the top 2 guys who are on 23 now. And he has the worst tiebreakers at this point.
Yes, Gage's tiebreakers are 52%.
Yeah, where everybody
the
else
lowest,
is at 57.
Yes, the next lowest person in contention is 57%.
So Gage winning this, or he just won that game.
He won that. He's up a game.
He's basically playing for 9th. Is that sound right?
Yes, Gage is playing for 9th. So it's a very risky draw by at least one person. And there are many people that there's a 57.2, 57.4, 57.9, 58.8. Those tiebreakers are bunched together, so somebody took a risk. I mean, it's calculated risk, and it'll work out for everybody if Gage wins this match. But if Alex wins this match, he will actually vault into the top seed as the only person with 24 points.
Which will likely bump. Looks like Logan Crean.
Well, like all these tiebreakers are very close,
they're gonna change,
and they're subject to change.
Right, that makes sense. Okay. So, players sideboarding here. Gage appears to have finished sideboarding. Alex still trying to figure out what he wants to do. Stifle actually, strangely, as much as Stifle is a part of Gage's strategy, Stifle seems like it's a very good card against Gage's strategy, just like the whole scavenge thing. It seems like such a strange little interaction there.
So going to sideboards, see, Gage does not have a ton of cards to bring in. He has an Abrupt Decay, a Scavenge Use, and a Relic of Progenitus. Relic of Progenitus is really strange when you have Varolz in your deck.
It is. It certainly is.
He also has a Nile Spellbomb, but that's not as good because it doesn't shrink the Tarmogoyfs. But it could be shrinking Gage's own Tarmogoyfs. This match, so he may not want it. He also has a Life from the Loam, which I've found to be very underwhelming. In theory, it's very good against a mana denial deck, but it's often too slow to be effective when you're just playing 1 land a turn. It would help Gage, Wasteland Lock, but when games come to that, you generally don't need a card like Life of the Loam. Generally, a card like Sylvan Library or even like another Tarmogoyf for big creature would generally do it. What does Alex have?
Looking on the other side, Alex he's got 3 copies of Submerge.
Yeah, an excellent card against Varolz itself.
That's the one that's jumping out at me. Other than, he's got Red Elemental Blast. Doesn't actually have many targets, despite facing against a bug deck.
The other card that's actually phenomenal is Mind Harness.
Yeah, show us Mind Harness. That's one that only pops up from time to time.
It is a 1-mana control magic.
Right.
It can only enchant red or green creatures, but has cumulative upkeep as well.
There you see Mind Harness with some weird art.
Welcome to Mirage.
Yeah. And you see it play only on a red or green creature, cumulative upkeep of 1, and you can gain control of enchanted creatures. So what he can steal...
Cumulative upkeep is... upkeep comes into play, you have to pay 1. The next turn you pay 2.
Right.
The following turn you pay 3. So you pay more and more mana to keep it around each turn.
Right. So it can steal out of Gage's deck. There's Varolz, there's Tarmogoyf, and Deathrite Shaman. But those are the only targets.
Tarmogoyf and Varolz being the big
Deathrite Shaman not
especially if the Varolz is quite large.
Right. So evaluating their openers, they both kept, and we've got Tropical Island from Alex and
and I would like
Thoughtseize from Gage. going to get a response here, a daze from Alex Roberts. He just adds one to his...
So he doesn't get dazed back.
Right, and returns the tropical island. So,
yep.
Wasteland, your
Alex
only
Roberts
land. And we're back
to play the complete mana denial game. He has cards that he could play, but he's just happy to stay on 0 lands and not develop his own board. Just as long as Gage's development is stunted.
So Creeping Tar Pit from Gage is met with a tropical island into Nimble Mongoose from Alex. Misty Rainforest now from Gage. We know that Alex is holding a Stifle. Right now, though, he's tapped out, so this might be a good time to crack that Rainforest, and Gage agrees.
We'll play a Tarmogoyf, more than likely. I believe Gage does have Stifle Knot in his hand. Stifle and Phyrexian Dreadnought, but I think that's a little risky to play against Daze or Force of Will without actually knowing Alex's hand.
Right, and currently we'll have a, I believe a 3/4 Tarmogoyf. We've got Sorcery Instant Land, and there it is, Tarmogoyf appears to have resolved and passes back to Alex. Alex draws Lightning Bolt, I believe, off the top. Got a Tarmogoyf of his own.
3/4.
Yeah. Sorcery Instant in the land.
Figure that out.
I believe Alex can play a Tarmogoyf of his own.
He certainly can. He's going to play a Volcanic Island, and yes, Tarmogoyf number 2. Now these guys will bounce off each other as it stands.
Yeah,
Noble Hierarch would be pretty good here.
Alex Roberts' Lightning Bolt is pretty good.
That's also pretty good, yeah. Misty Rainforest number 2 from Gage, and we're going to see Phyrexian Dreadnought. Resolve.
Stifle,
says Gage on the trigger, and that resolves. So Stifle Knot achieved.
Without a Submerge from Alex, basically off the top, or cantripped into off the top, it looks like Gage is gonna win this game.
It's looking good for Gage.
Yeah. As a Varol's drawn.
Yeah. Alex does nothing with his turn but play a Scalding Tarn and pass back.
Yeah, 12/12, not small.
Yeah, so Alex can chump block here. He can go to 8.
Cannot chump block very well. Trample on the Phyrexian Dreadnought, quite impressive.
Yeah, that's also a factor. Just soak up some damage, right? It's I guess it's still chump blocking, but it's not the kind of chump blocking that you want against a 12/12.
Yes.
Looks like a Life from the Loam from Gage. Gets back a fetch land and a Underground Sea if it resolves. Looks like we're gonna have a Spell Snare from Alex. At least he tapped mana and Spell Snare. So Gage passes, leaving up the Tarmogoyf for defense.
Force of Will drawn, so it looks like Gage is going to win this match very quickly.
Yeah, Alex is in bad shape right now if he can't find some answer to that Phyrexian Dreadnought.
So I think if Gage just simply attacks with both of his creatures, he's going to win this match. Force of Will, Stifle, Lightning Bolt are the cards in Alex's hand.
He's going to play a Scalding Tarn.
Very good against a 12/12 trample.
Life from the Loam dredging a Death Shadow, Thoughtseize, and a Dark Confidant into the graveyard.
Take up the Tarmogoyf to a 4/5, but that's not really the relevant part. I guess it could be. Alex can actually live a single turn. If he blocks his 4/5 Tarmogoyf on the Phyrexian Dreadnought, takes 7 trample.
Right, and puts the Mongoose in front of the Tarmogoyf.
Yes.
So that looks like the only way he's going to survive here.
Yeah. But then there's not a draw in Alex's deck that can even Submerge won't do it because of the Tarmogoyf.
So soak up 5.
And
Take 7.
You can see Alex. He's like, all right. I'm hoping you make some unbelievable mistake.
Right. Gage just scoops randomly. Those scalding tarns sure are looking unimpressive on Alex's side of the board in this particular situation.
Life.
Now he draws a scalding tarn right on time and gonna bolt himself.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it.
There you go. There you go, Alex.
Sometimes.
Go out the man's way.
Yeah.